Hello, I'm Alex Lowen from Attention Now, representing SOLEMATE'S software in this 10th online education event. Over to you, Craig Cooksley, the CEO and owner of SOLEMATE Software. Tell us about SOLEMATE and how we utilise research from Lewers.
Yes, thank you, Alex. SOLEMATE Software is a small boutique software company that specialises in inventory control for online, wholesale and retail. And we've been using the research of Lewers to really talk to our existing clients and talk to prospective clients about getting over the COVID virus and how other retailers are using the data to really expand and open up new opportunities.
Exactly. Now, Moira Kellard from Lewers, tell us about the research and the recent research you've done to date, which is going to lead into your report being published in the next probably 24 hours, which is exciting.
It is indeed. It is indeed, Alex. Thank you. Okay, this is the 14th report in the series. There's been a little bit of a gap in time simply because most states were opening up and we left a little bit of gap in time for this report. But what it's showing is that even though we're opening up, even Australia still has a level of mixed sentiment about COVID and concern, unsurprisingly. Slightly more positive than negative now, so there is hopefulness in the air, which is terrific. But still nearly 4 in 10 are concerned, and that's all wrapped around uncertainty on the vaccine, the economy, and quarantine controls once the borders are fully opened. Of course, that's heightened with the latest outbreak from Adelaide. The impacts of COVID remain very uneven, and looking at Christmas shopping, we asked a question this time around about whether they intended to spend more, the same, or less than last year. And interestingly there, 2 in 5 were claiming they're likely to spend less. And I'll just call out some little aspects of that, actually. I'll just move to that slide particularly. Interestingly, the bulk of people said they intended to spend the same, around 58% saying they'd carry on as usual. And unsurprisingly, there was a spike in that from South Australia and Queensland, who, until this latest outbreak, those 2 states had been least affected. The 6% who were going to spend more was weighted towards West Australia, who has done best out of the whole country, no surprise there. And then the 36% spending and intending to spend less, unsurprisingly, were from the most affected states of Victoria and New South Wales, and amongst 30 to 54-year-olds, so the classic family age band where they're tightening their belts. We also asked a question this time around about financial difficulties and restrictions, and pleasingly there was some sign of recovery as freedoms ensuing in most states, and a slight drop in those reporting reduction in spend. The main areas that they're reducing spend on are still travel and entertainment expenses and food shopping, interestingly, basic household expenses, still some intent to spend and enjoy for Christmas, as I've just explained, that bulk of people intending to make it a good Christmas and spend the same at least. But 1 in 5 households are still reporting reduced household expenses to make ends meet, and that really reflects the around 1 in 5 that have been particularly badly affected by COVID. So the rest of the report goes into a bit more detail about the optimism around the country, the hopes, if you like, for change and in the future. And I think it was a particular interest for businesses that during COVID, there's been real acknowledgement that some retailers specifically have adopted new practices, safe practices, and done really well in community support. And there's a desire to see that focus on local community continue. And there's a real desire among shoppers to continue to support there. There is a need for retailers and small businesses to remain very, very careful around health and hygiene. There's an expectation that the whole health, hand hygiene and the COVID restrictions will be maintained at least into the 2021 and possibly beyond. There are some people that believe the changes are forever now. There's beliefs that we will no longer, actually when we asked a question, we said in 25 years, how will you look back on COVID and what will you tell your children? It was fascinating because what they said was we would lament our lack of preparedness for this. And we would also talk about how it reshaped our daily lives. So the feeling is that Australia needs to learn from this to move forward, continuing to support local businesses and the economy, investing in manufacturing, investing in health here, as the government has already signalled they're going to do, and investing in a readiness for future crises. I think Australians are feeling that COVID-19 has been a wake-up call. We all need to be kinder, more compassionate to each other, but also the sense that it's life in Australia may never actually return to a true normal, that the new COVID normal will be virus control and change patterns and more safety moving forward. And that's in sum.
Thank you so much, Moira and Lewers, for your wonderful work that we're all leveraging and using to understand better how to market to our online shoppers especially. And looking forward to hearing more about Frontline Stores now. Over to you, David, with how you support the Frontline Store members with the online shoppers and also making sure going to market strategies are happening and planning for 2021.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Well, Christmas is looking, fairly promising for us. I think, from an online perspective, our stores have all got on board with the, being online. They've had to really come up to speed, and we've had a lot of member inquiry about how do we get online, how do we build a shopping cart, how do we do all of these sorts of things. And from our perspective, most of that has been handled internally. We've had other people look at it too from external sources as well. But generally, retail sales from our members seem to be fairly buoyant, both at a door level, face to face, and online. So we're relatively confident. I think there's going to be some supply issues come Christmas time. We've already seen in the, particularly in the sport area, where bigger items like trampolines and basketball backboards and things, a lot of stuff that's coming in from China is very hard to get now. So there's going to be some limitations on supply for those sorts of stores. But generally, the Christmas period is buoyant, and I think our retailers can look forward to a good festive season.
Exactly. And Carly, you're the one servicing these calls and your members. Tell us about what the feeling is and how this research is going to be great to share with everybody.
I think it'll be beneficial. I've had a lot of calls from members about looking to Christmas and doing, point of sale systems, setting up their shops in order for the Christmas trade. So I think it's quite positive all round now that Melbourne's open and we're moving forward. So yeah, it's doing really good.
And over to you, Jen Stanley from Anushka & Co. Tell us about the online strategy in the digital medium with what you're doing, mainly with social media.
Thanks, Alex. I think basically going forward, the whole period of lockdown have taught us how much we can do through online and how valuable an online presence can be, even, in conjunction with a physical store presence or, you're increasing a face-to-face contact. That digital presence is still going to be, for a lot of people, their first port of call and their first point of interaction with your business. So it is still really crucial to kind of get your digital communications, your social media, your copywriting, your website, all of that stuff. It's still really important that that's right up to the mark and that you're really active in that kind of space as well.
And Jen, tell us your offer at the moment for Soulmate Software clients and Frontline Stores members and how you can support people get ready for 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you're in that kind of early phase of getting your digital communications and your social media sort of off the ground, we are offering for all of the Frontline members a free half-hour social media consultation, which is just a session with us either on the phone or over Zoom, where we kind of evaluate your current social media output and we talk a bit about your goals and what you would like your sort of content strategy to look like, and we just help you get those first steps ready to go.
Thank you, Jen. It's brilliant, and it's wonderful working with you and also with Soulmate Software and Frontline Stores on bringing clients the best planning, the best organisational support in these trying times and planning for a much more positive 2021. At the moment, attention now, and the brokers, the financial advisors we work with, as well as the marketers, the great marketers you see here today, and of course the Soulmate Software team, we're actually bringing a $500 discount to plans for 2021. So we hope to join you and your team in the coming months in preparing for 2021 with these Lewers reports and making sure we do have the best year next year. We've got a couple more of these online education events, so we welcome your feedback, and we'd love to have you online and hearing more about what would really support you and how we can bring the best for you. The best contact point is sales@solomate.com.au, and we can connect you to anybody part of this affiliation program. Over to you, Craig, to wrap up and just tell us a bit more about what Solemate Software is doing, not just on the Solemate Software's, it's actually very, very much bespoke, as well as what you're doing with these great online platforms for online shopping, but also Solemate's, all the financial reports. There's 80, and these business owners out there who are wanting to have more visibility and grow their businesses next year can go to you.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Alex. What we come across as very simple. Our point of sale is very easy to use, but it's really in the depth of reporting and tracking like their customers. And we're talking to a great member, thank you, David, who's talking about memberships. And we're going to be providing cards with barcodes, so the member scans the barcode at point of sale and gets an instant discount going through, and that is tracked, and that affects the GP reporting, which goes into probably 30 of our different reports, and we track that by department, excuse me, by maker and by employee to really get the depth of reporting by brand and label. And the whole idea of running our software is to reduce your stock on hand over time. So you make your stock more efficient, and you know what's dead stock, and clear out through promotions stock that's been lying around, and be a lot more efficient in your inventory.
Well, it's fantastic, and hearing feedback from Solemate's clients and frontline store members on how this visibility can help businesses grow and also get through this trying year. The positive out of the research from what we've gathered is the fact that clients can actually see that there's a lot more local support with Australian brands, and that's the one positive that we can all take out of this COVID time, and how we can best support with local businesses like Solemate and Lewers to really take that to market. And of course, with the digital and online strategy of Anushka & Co and Attention Now. So thank you so much for all joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks, and we'll have our special editions. Please tell us which ones you'd like to hear more from. Thank you all.